Hello, good evening. Hope you are doing well. I want to talk to you about a very interesting report that Zinnov has published. This is about the GCCs in India, the Global Capability Centers, the foreign companies who set up India operations in R&D space, technology space, and many other space at or maybe just business process outsourcing, right? So they have done a survey. Genova has done a survey with the 70 plus GCCs in India. There are close to 1,600 GCCs today, which employs around 1.6 million people, and they're distributed across, I think, 100 plus locations currently in India. So this is the report, and now this report tells you something which is like very easy to read, right? So everybody knows that there is some sort of macroeconomic pressure on businesses, and there is a set for hiring now, and the attrition also has checked because of the attrition in the mine, and the market is not really hiring aggressively. Certainly not, and many of them are completely stopped hiring. If you look at the services companies, for that matter, outside of the GCC, the sentiment is really low. TCS has really gone down in total numbers of people that they have currently in the last 2 3 months. For consistently, they are going down for that matter. So certainly, that is telling you about what exactly is the impact on the overall hiring, especially in the IT space in India as such. So this talks about the survey that they did with around 70 plus participating companies in GCC space. Yeah, what this report in the beginning here in the summary or probably the context says is that despite all these gloomy sentiments, right, of macroeconomic pressure on business and recession setting in the business for considerably longer time than most of the people had anticipated. There are 65 GCCs who have come up in India in the last 1 year, so which is 2022 calendar year. This report is talking about. Out of which 69% of them are the American companies, and this is certainly telling that in US has a great faith in Indian talent for that matter, and they consider India as kind of market because I think larger reason is that India has the large number of resources that the US needs. So India is a kind of a destination where they can meet their number estimates, and then second thing is the cost, which works for them, and the third thing is the English speaking population, and India's talent for that matter over the last 20 years of outsourcing has really been understood by the US companies very well, so they are predictable in terms of their skills and performance, and a safe bet for that matter. All right, so let's go to the report for that matter, right? And what exactly they did the primary research, maybe survey or something. In the discussion they also had with the mostly the HR people or tier compensation people, just to understand what compensation they make and what is happening with respect to the raises that they are offering, etc., and kind of attrition that they are seeing, and against attrition when they're going and hiring, or against the planned, staff augmentation that they might be doing, what exactly is the compensation that they're looking at, and how is the market responding to it? Are they really within budget or going off the hook? And some bit of analysis, and then finally the report has been built. Now, when I come to this page, you see in the title, right, participant democracy for that demography, sorry, for that matter. So here in the introduction slide, they're talking about 70 plus GCCs and 121 plus centers. Now, 121 plus centers is that there are GCCs, like say America has one company up here, right? For that matter, let's say Intel. Intel has 5 offices, so they have more centers than one, right? That's what it is all about. So out of the 70 GCCs that they have, they went to 121 centers. So the centers may be in the same city, other offices, or something, or in a different city. So for that matter, they have spoken to people or analyzed the feedback that they have received, or the survey report that they have received has gone to actually 121 plus centers, and just not 70 plus GCCs. So it's just not one office. It is particularly there are 121 offices or set of people that it has gone to. Now, what is interesting on the left hand side, if you see the map of India and the numbers associated, there are cities in which these are the bigger cities, particularly where usually the GCCs are. What really surprised me is that I don't know what they're trying to say. Are they trying to say 69% of these GCCs are in Bangalore through this map out of the 70 plus. I don't know. If it is 69 here, then add to this, say 30 of Hyderabad, it becomes 99. Then how come are you getting percentage of 33 and 16 and 11 and 26 and 19, etc., for different cities for that matter? So this is completely confusing. Now, the other thing is that if they are talking about the participant responses or something, or what percentage of people of these companies they have reached out, then have they reached out to 69% of the total population that they had gone to, then why it is so less in other places, right? Why it is so less in Chennai for that matter? So it doesn't make sense, right? How many people responded? This doesn't look like, or how many people surveyed. No, so there's something wrong here. If you're understanding, let me know. Okay, on the right hand side, if you see, is 31% of the headcount of these companies that they have surveyed has less than 500 people in India. Then 35% have around 500 to 2,500, and then so on and so forth, as you see there. 48% of them are there in internet and software space, engineering services 13%, BFSI 8%, semiconductor 6%, etc., that you see on the screen for that matter. Now, what exactly I'm interested in is going on to their dashboards. Now, if you look at the dashboard, right, the salary increases 2022 inner circle, right? You see the gray color, red color, and blue color, right? And then there is outer circle, which is again these colors, and there is one light gray color, which you see there. Now, what does it mean, right? So, 2022, they say that the salaries were skyrocketing. There was too much attrition. People were really minting money. Companies had to go off budget most of the time for any hiring, for that matter, which simply defines it was a candidate market, right? And people got a much disproportionate raise than the companies had ever anticipated at 2022. Now, what is happening here? If you go by the inner cycle 2022, salary increase with planned budget. So, company had the budget, and 60% of the people were within the budget, right? They did not have to shell off more money. 38% in 2022 were the people, where the increase with the salary increased with a higher budget. So, they had set some budget for that, and 38% went outside of the budget, right? So it was a bigger number. Now they're telling about 2023, but not the whole part of 2023, but some part of 2023 that they're talking about. Here, this number doesn't look like varying much, right? So within budget is 58%, and outside the budget is 35%. I mean, I don't see any difference for that matter. Now, the other thing which you see here is that what they're trying to tell here by the salary increase in 2023, early 2023, maybe the first 3 months they are talking about. Okay, now what you look at here is that there is a P10, P50, P90 and average, right? So P90. Let's start with P10, and let's take engineering and R&D, which is the second row, right? We are talking about engineering R&D people, right? So what kind of raise did they get in early 2023? So it looks like those companies will give you the raise in the March and April. That's where we are, right? So, the P10, right, 8.7%. 8.7% and P10. What do you make out of it? It says that around 90% of the people, right, got 8.7% of raise, because P10 is something where 90% of the people are above this mark. So 8.7% is the raise percentage for the people who were at P10 in the whole range of raises given to the people. P50 is that 50% of the people got 14.8% raise, and P90 says that 90% of people, 10% of the people got 22.6% raise. Average was 15.4. This is how you understand it, right? Non R&D, yeah, slight difference, but yeah, for engineering and development, this is looking like significant number, right? So 50% of the people getting 14.8% of raise, phenomenal for that matter, I would say. But yeah, look at this: 10% of those people, who got 20.6% of raise. All right. So this is P90, where they were at P90. So P90 is there. So 26%, 26.6% and above, 10% of the people have got it, right? So exactly P90 is 20.6, P50 is 14.8. So when we say P50, P50 is That 14.8% higher numbers that they got, but exactly P50 was this, right, for that number. So people may have got anywhere between 14.8% to say 22.5%, and this is like P50, P60, P70, P80, etc., etc., whatever it is, right? That's how it is designed. Now here, if you look at left-hand side, if you look at the attrition, it is telling you in 21, 22, 23, it's significantly going down, slowly going down, slowly going down. So 2021 was the year, when the whole industry came out of COVID and people were still in remote largely. Yes, they were in remote, nearly all of them. For that matter, if I talk about the calendar year. And then, the attrition actually was very high at that point in time because the people had the capacity to work remotely, and therefore the companies who uh, were even in the remotest location for that matter could hire people from anywhere, right? But in usual times when you have to report to the office, if you are trying to hire people in Bangalore, for Bangalore, you look at people who are in Bangalore, right? But when it is like a pre-COVID time, COVID time for that matter, when there was a complete lockdown and completely remote people who are working, you can hire people from anywhere. Now, what happens is that the target companies for any particular candidate is almost three times, four times, five times, seven times, 10 times, right? All these people start to get these number of calls for one kind of an opportunity. So yeah, it's a great opportunity, but yeah, as you see, down to the 2023 early, the kind of attrition also has come down. That's what it is now. Voluntary attrition, engineering R&D was the highest at 19.2, and then come to the end of 2022 and early 2023 it is 14.70. This is what it is. Yeah, the voluntary attrition. Hiring, of course, has gone down at the same time. So this is what it is, right? You see, it is very, very self-explanatory for that matter. So even in 2023, early the hiring was high, right? 2021 was high, 33.40 new positions were always open, right? And then 27% and 27.10%, right? They were hiring at this rate, and then 26.10 is the hiring, right? The total number of positions or hiring rate, right? 80% of the GCC revenue in 2020 are from R&D, okay, whatever it is. And then it talks about several things which are like in words and not something which make much sense to me for that matter. So this is what it is. Let's see. So overall, looks like has done some data analytics based on the GCCs from what exactly they perceive as within budget, outside budget is something more interesting to understand. So mostly it is like 65-35. That's the range that remains, and I think it is pretty standard in any growth market for that matter for competitive skills that I've surveyed for. So thanks, thanks the team, which has done a great job. And if you want to look at the team, here's the team of authors who have written this report, and there might be people who may have collected it, and everything else may have been done by operations team or whatever team that they may have in place. So thank you to this team for putting this good report in place, and hope you guys are able to take some value out of it.